Right, so just when I think I've got most of my tasks done for the Millard, I've got always something that needs to be done, and we're actually taking the Millard out next weekend, so I kind of got to get this done. So what I'm going to do today is replace the tap, the hoses for the water system. There's the filter. I've got the brass connections and so on. And there's the sink I've already pulled out. And here's the old tap. So that's the old grotty tap that didn't allow for enough space. So we bought this kind of retro funky looking one, which has the ability to adjust the spout, etc, etc, and it's kind of keeping in with the era of this Caravan, kind of 1970s retro look. So what I've done so far is, I said, I've taken this out already and I've given it a bit of a clean. But one of the things I had to do was, you'll notice straight away that the thread sizes are different. So I had to get a couple of stainless washers, these two here, which I'll be using to sandwich here when I'm putting the tap in. So just quickly, the tap will sit in here, something like that, and allow for sufficient room to get stuff under. Just move that a bit forward. There you go. So that's today's task. So a couple of things I need to do before I start assembling that. I'm going to cut the required length of this food grade or drinking hose, because that'll come from the connection, which is these two here. Had to buy an adapter. This will screw into there, and then I'll screw underneath there, and that'll come in through to there, and I'll show you how all that's done. But anyway, this will feed down through the sink, which is here, and down through the hole here, and then out through that hole there to the other side, in which then the filter is attached, if that makes sense. So what I'll probably end up doing first, I'm just kind of thinking about the way here, is to attach. I'll attach the tap first with the fittings, then I'll measure up the length of the first hose to go to underneath the Caravan. From there it'll be attached to the filter, and then from the other side of the filter it will be attached to the Caravan Park's water supply. So I'll put this one in first. Right, step one. So you can see there's the washer that I had to buy, and underneath is the other washer there to hold it in place. So I think that's going to look quite nice. It'll do the job anyway, and as I said, that's movable. Right, so we've got that. Now the second part is to put those two fittings in there that I talked about, which are these two, and I'll need to use a bit of plumber's tape to deal with that as well. Next step is, I've cut the length of the hose, and I'll just put that in there and then screw it into place, which will then mean that I can effectively put this back in, but of course I won't just yet. So I'll screw that in. I've got these stainless steel grub screws as well that I'll just tighten, and we'll get on to the next bit. So we have that running through to the bottom, and obviously I have to put the other end of the hose clip for the filter. But the other thing I'll need to do now is put that into the drainage hole. So I'm going to just drop all this in gently, and I will show you the positioned view with everything attached. Right, so I've just positioned this. I haven't actually screwed it into position yet, but anyway, it's looking a whole lot better. I think the other half is going to be happy with that. And underneath we've got those position hoses in place. Which one down here? Right, so now we'll do the outside. We need to connect these things. So the idea is we'll put one through the pipe. This is actually a reducer. It's actually quite handy to have in case you've got different size taps in the caravan parks. That's a larger one, and so on. So I'll attach one of these with a clip outside, and once I've done that, then the remainder of the hose I'll also include one on each end and attach it, and then we can give it a go. Right, external piece. There we go. And what I'll do is it actually just hangs low here, so that way the filter can sit. So whilst traveling, I'm going to have to pull this up so I can tuck it away or look at some way of holding it in place. But anyway, that one's done. So all I've got to do is the same for each end on the remaining of the hose, and then we can hook it up and see it in action. Right, so the two other ends are in place. Kind of looks a bit bling, doesn't it, with the blue and the bronze. So the bronze. It says here the flow, so the flow in. Obviously it's going to go into the kitchen, so I need to attach that to that. And then the other side will be here, and then this side will be to the hose, or to the tap. So I'll connect it all up now. Well, I've got it working, but you can see I've suffered a massive leak here. Oopsie daisy. That's part of it, I suppose. And it's coming from the sink area. This is why up there, this is why I didn't bolt this down, so I can get to the hose. So it was definitely leaking from this area here. So I'm going to have to test that again. Look, I took the entire sink back out again because I thought, look, rather than risk another mess, I've connected the sink inlet straight to the hose. So because I think that's the problem there. So let's give it a try. I've got the sink on. Here we go. And there's the water coming out there, which is fine. That's what we want. However, I turned that off. What is happening here? Typical. I'm cranking up the pressure a bit more. And of course nothing's leaking now. But I mean, that's great, but you know, typical Murphy's Law. I had to leak while I was in the caravan making a mess there. But that's definitely nothing's come out of that. No wetness there. And again, just to confirm, yep, we've got plenty of water coming through there. Close that off again. And that's it, that's happy with that. Rightio, connected back again. One of the things I should point out is the second time around I actually used a socket rather than a screwdriver, because the screwdriver didn't give me enough strength for me to tighten it up, and that was one of the things that stopped the leak. So yes, use proper tools to help with the job. Okay, take two. Right, quickly go inside. Oh, slow down, Tiger. And quickly have a look in here. Okay, dry. Oh, the drain pipe is just draining out to the bottom of the caravan there. But that's looking so far so good. Crank it open a bit, and then what I need to do now is test what happens when I shut it. Here we go, fully shut. Looks pretty good. So far so good when it's dry. So my handy hint and tip for you is to try out your plumbing connection from the beginning outside as opposed to inside, so avoid potential catastrophe. One more look, it's looking pretty good, and all that's now left for me to do is to reattach the sink back in, and that's another job done. So as always, thanks for watching.